All right, go ahead and state your name and tell me your ride. What am I looking at?
How you doing today? My name is DJ. Right now you're looking at a 2005 Evo 8.
And I just wanted to say that this has been a grow, like a poster car for me, 20 some odd years ago. Always obsessed with the Evo 8s, just the character that this car has. Now, tell me, we were talking really briefly, how did you end up wanting this car, getting this car, and, why Mitsubishi Evo?
So funny story with that, I started modifying the old first-gen GSXs and TSIs with the
Oh, that's
4G6.
old. That's old school.
1991 was the first ones I started modifying. Was able to save up finally to get this Evo 8. I've always fell in love with the 4G6 motor. I love the way it sounds. I love the way the power when I want to put down, I can put it in there. As I was telling you before, I had a fully built Audi S3. It was very refined, but the Evo and Mitsubishi, they're cars. They show you, they feel everything when it comes to these cars, especially the Evo 8s and Evo 9s. Just that power it puts down.
And you mentioned, what is it, like the Eagle Talon TSIs, right? Or like the 4G63s in those before Mitsubishi kind of like gave us the Evo. And so what kind of experiences have you had with the motors? Have you like built them from the bottom up? I know that they're obviously an extremely tunable motor, but tell me kind of like your experience with the engines for these cars.
I haven't done anything really fancy with them. I've done basic rebuilds. I've had basic tunes done. Turbo-wise, I've always upgraded to either FP Black or FP Reds. Intercoolers, I've always tried to go bigger with it. But with this Evo 8, like I told you before, I'm actually trying to bring her back to more of an OEM status. I want to bring her, she's always been a legend. I want to treat her like the legend she is.
Absolutely, and I love the fact that you mentioned it's a legend. Now, have you had an experience with the Evo 10? I mean, a lot of the kids nowadays are trying to still pick up those, and I mean, those are still amazing cars, but 4B11, right? But have you considered those or looked at those or driven any of those?
So I did have a 2009 Rally Art, which was the baby version of the Evo 10. I did a full Evo conversion to it, upgraded the turbo, did a TD05. That was on flex fuel. Oh, wow. I just was not a fan of the 4B11. Mm-hmm. Like it did not feel like the 4G63. It's such a beautiful motor, and I still believe it's top 10 to put under 10 seconds to this day.
Oh, I love that. And so you mentioned you're trying to bring this back to OEM. What are some of the other cars you have experienced with, or you just kind of rock it daily and you got this?
Right now, I traded a lot of what was in my saddle. I had a S3 I traded in. I have a Mark 7. I had a Mark 6. I'm actually more of I'm a car enthusiast. I try to dabble in everything. I've dabbled in European, Japanese, American, and Japanese motors has always been my draw. I always come back to Japanese motors no matter what I have.
That's refreshing to hear because, yeah, I feel the same way. What are some advice? What's some advice you can give some of these tuners looking into a Mitsubishi, whether it be an Evo 8 or Evo 10?
I mean, I'm prejudiced towards the Evo 8. I want the Evo 8, Evo 9. I actually stay away from the Evo 9s. I'm not a fan of my VEC. That's Honda. Honda can have all that VEC stuff.
That's the valve timing stuff,
yes,
right?
Yes, the valve timing. I'm not really a fan of that. I mean, just keep looking out. I was lucky I found this car. I mean, they're out there. People are just watch what you're looking for. And trust me, you'll be happy with her. There'll be basic things you got to do, but as long as you keep up with it, I mean, she'll treat you right as long as you treat her right.
Oh, I love it. I love it. That all-wheel drive is the best. Last question, and I'll let you enjoy the show. I know I caught you right when you were walking over, but when I saw this, I had to come. I love this. California is going to be transitioning to electrification in the next 15 to 20 years. What are your thoughts of electric cars and kind of the future of the car culture?
I mean, I understand where electric cars are coming from with everything going on to this day in this world, but I mean, you're never going to be able to replace internal combustion in my eyes. I mean, the Challenger came out with this new EV version, and they put a speaker on it. It's a Bluetooth speaker to have an exhaust down. I mean, to the day I die, I'm going to have internal combustion. Maybe one day I'll have an EV, but I like to hear my cars.
Yeah, I can't agree with you more. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Yes, sir.